and salutations, my dearest friends. My name is Samantha, and today I'm going to be talking about some hockey romances. Hello, how are you? Welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to Trope Week. If you don't know what Trope Week is, it's a series I do quite frequently on my channel where I pick one specific romance book trope and I give you a bunch of recommendations. And today, obviously, we're going to be talking about hockey romances, which is arguably the best kind of sports romance there is. This is also a collab with one of my favorite YouTubers, Jessica from Peace Love Books. Actually, Jessica is the best of the best when it comes to booktube videos, like sports romances, mafia romances, historical romances, like literally every subgenre. Reads indie books and self-published books. She does all types of readathons. We host a book club together called the Historical Hellions. I've met Jessica a few times in person and she is wonderful, literally the sweetest human being alive. I'm so happy that we're doing this video together. So I'm going to be talking about some hockey romances. What is it about hockey romances? Like, when I'm reading a sports romance, it 1000% has to be hockey. Like, that is the sport that us romance readers have decided is the hottest sport alive. So I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules. So the first book I want to talk about is a book by one of my new favorite authors. I discovered her books on Kindle Unlimited when I did that video where I read a novella every single day for a month, and that is Marina Vivancos. Oh my gosh, her writing is so perfect. I feel like she's so underrated. I need everyone to read her books, and she does have a hockey romance. Vivancos writes novellas on Kindle Unlimited. They're a little longer than your typical novella. They're usually like just shy of 200 pages. It's like the perfect length for me, but a lot of her books are very angsty and very emotional and like sweepingly romantic. It does take place in an Omegaverse world, which I have a whole video on Omegaverse. I talk about it a lot because it's one of my favorite tropes. So this follows our characters Alonzo and Levi. This is a male-male romance. Alonzo is an Omega playing in an alpha-dominated sport. So he is playing professionally in the NHL, and he's been hiding a big secret, and that's the fact that he's an Omega. So there's no rule that Omegas can't play hockey, but every professional hockey player is presenting as an alpha, trying to keep that secret, and he ends up rooming with another fellow rookie on his team named Levi, who is an alpha, and being in close proximity with one another makes Alonzo go into heat. Roommate Levi is an alpha and ends up finding out that Alonzo is Omega and kind of keeps a secret. They end up developing a friendship first. This is definitely a friends to lovers romance, and they kind of like lean on each other. This is so freaking cute. It's kind of like a grumpy sunshine pairing. Our Omega is the grumpy one, our alpha is the sunshine one. Such a golden retriever character. His energy is literally electric. I love the way he takes care of our Omega. It is, oh my god, perfect. I love this book with my whole heart, body, and soul. So the next one that I want to talk about is also by Marina Vivancos. She did a collab with another author, E.M. Lindsay. Together they wrote Between the Pipes, which is a polyamorous hockey romance. You guys know I love anything more than two people. I do. I really do. So this is a MMM romance. 3 guys all play professional hockey on the same team. Follows our 2 characters who are already in an established relationship, and they end up falling for their goalie, who is another rookie on their team, and he's just like this shy, introverted golden retriever type of character. They're like so gone for him, and they just are like desperately wanting him to realize how well he would fit in their relationship. It follows the romance of them kind of like pursuing him so that they can create this trio. And it's so freaking sweet, and you get chapters in each of our characters' point of view, so you get to see all of them like seamlessly fall in love with each other. It's such a great balanced poly trio. The next one is a little bit of a darker romance, and that is Hidden Scars by Andy Jackson. So this follows Preston and Jeremy, and this is another male-male romance, and it's an enemies to lovers romance. The hero Preston ends up getting transferred to play hockey at this college, and he ends up rooming with Jeremy, and there is an instant enemies to lovers situation going on. In this book, Preston goes through a lot with his family. There's a lot of trauma, a lot of trigger warnings. I don't do any spoilers, but he has been abused by his father for his entire life, trying to hide the abuse that he's experiencing at home, and kind of just lashes out on everyone. He's very aggressive, very possessive. And the second that him and Jeremy are paired together to be roommates, there is this instant chemistry. Preston is very dominant and aggressive, but Jeremy balances him perfectly because he's more submissive and likes it a little bit rough. This book is equal parts them falling for each other, but also Preston going through his traumatic childhood and healing for that. This book reminds me a lot, like a lot of Untouchable by Sam Mariano. Preston and Carter Mahoney very much give very similar energy. These hotshot characters, they're very possessive, very aggressive, to push the boundaries, especially when it comes to like consensual non-consent. So if you're not a dark romance reader, you're probably not gonna like this one because it does have a lot of trigger warnings. But if you're someone who really absolutely loves Untouchable by Sam Mariano. You're going to love Hidden Scars because I feel like the main characters are very similar in personality as well as the trauma that they've been through. And yeah, oh gosh, I love this book so much. When I tell you I was crying, so emotional, so angsty, such a good enemies to lovers romance. Next one is another male-male romance, and this is Power Plays and Straight A's by Eden Finley. This is the first book in the CU hockey series. So this book follows Zach and Foster. Foster is a senior in college and he's playing hockey, and he has his sights set on the NHL. And his brother, his twin brother, kind of comes to him and asks him to keep an eye on his best friend. His best friend is transferring to his college because of some drama that happened at the previous college, and he's very shy, very nerdy, very introverted. So his brother kind of like asked him to like watch over him. Well, Foster is bisexual in this book, and he has always had a crush on his brother's best friend, but he's been off limits. He's promised his brother that he wasn't going to make any moves on him. He isn't fully out with his parents, doesn't know how to have that conversation, especially because Zach is someone that spends the holidays with them and is like also a part of the family. He agrees to like watch after Zach during their college experience, and they grow very close to each other. They end up having some of the same classes together, and it's just the sweetest romance. Definitely an opposite attract type of romance. Really interested in reading the rest of the series because I could see hints of romances with like other side characters, so I'm definitely going to finish the rest of the series. What I want to recommend is Body Checked by Camellia Tate. Sorry if I keep looking down, it's because I'm looking at my notes. This is the second book in the Salt Lake Puma series, which you don't have to read in order, and I think there's 7 books in total in this series, and they're all novellas. So if you want to read a hockey romance novella, this one is a great one to check out. Here Will plays hockey, and he ends up getting injured and hurting his shoulder, so he's out for the season based on his injury. He's headed back to a small town to recover from his injury and hopefully be able to play the next season. One of his friends could tell that he's like really down, so ends up suggesting that he goes adopt a dog. So he goes to adopt a dog, and that is where he meets our heroine. It definitely starts as like a friends with benefit situation because our hero is determined to focus on nothing else but hockey, but of course he falls for our heroine, and it's adorable. I highly recommend it. This one I love is Home Game by Odette Stone, and I actually read this one because of Jessica from Peace of Books. She recommended this one to me. I'm sure it's in her recommendation video. Second book in the series, but you can definitely read it out of order. I did. I listened to the audiobook and I loved the audiobook. So our hero plays professional hockey. He is in a coffee shop doing his taxes, and he's having a hard time. He doesn't know what he's doing, and our heroine sees him struggling and actually ends up helping him. Shows him how to work his computer. She ends up doing his taxes, but it actually makes her late to where she's supposed to go. So our hero feels bad and decides to give her a ride, so hopefully she's not late because of him. And it turns out that where she was trying to go was a homeless shelter, and our heroine is just going through a really rough time. She's lost both of her parents, she's homeless, and our hero feels responsible because she wasn't able to make it to the homeless shelter because of him, and she was helping him. So he ends up giving her like a business card, like if she ever needs help to just call him. They go their separate ways. They don't really think much about it. Well, our heroine actually ends up getting jumped and hurt in the streets and sent to the hospital, and the only thing that she had on her was his business card. So the hospital ends up calling him, he ends up going, and he just feels like he wants to help her. Ends up starting a friends to lovers romance. This is very, very slow burn because our hero is like the definition of a gentleman. He doesn't want to take advantage of the situation, he just wants to help her, but they end up falling for each other. It's also an opposites attract romance, a grumpy sunshine romance. Our heroine is the grumpy one in this situation, and our hero is like the golden retriever sunshine hero. So I loved this one. I highly recommend it. It was so good, so slow burn, which I normally don't like, but I loved this one. Next are very popular. They're like staples when it comes to hockey romances, and that is Him by Elle Kennedy and Serena Bowen. The friends lovers slash second chance romance. Our heroes were best friends growing up. They used to go to hockey camp together, and they ended up having a little bit of a steamy time. Our heroes wasn't completely sure about his own sexuality, and they end up hooking up, and it freaks him out. So he completely ignores his best friend, and there's many years that go by where they don't talk to each other, but now because of hockey they end up kind of reconnecting and forming a relationship, and it is so cute. I love it. There's a first, a second book, and a novella to this series, so you do have to read that in order, and I highly recommend it because it's just fabulous. Another really popular one is The Deal by Elle Kennedy. So our heroine is very shy, very introverted, and she wants to get the attention of someone that she has a crush on. Ends up propositioning our hero, who plays hockey, and make a deal that she's gonna help him get his grades up, and he's gonna help her become like this sexual goddess so that she can catch the attention of his friend. And of course they fall for each other. This one's really popular. A lot of people love it, but it's amazing. I do love this one. So those are all my recommendations for today. I probably could do a part 2 to this video, but I wanted to talk about some books that are on my TBR. The first one I'm reading right now is called Icebreaker by Hannah Grace, and this is a romance between a professional ice skater and a professional hockey player, which just sounds so freaking cute. And then the next one I really want to read is Mile High by Liz Tomford. When I was kind of like looking at books for this video, thinking of what I wanted to read, this one continuously came up. Like, everybody loves the series, and I was living under a rock. I need to read the series. I had never heard of it before, and now it's definitely on my TBR. Alright, so those are all my recommendations. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to check out Jessica's video. If you have any hockey recommendations, please leave them in the comments down below. As always, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend time with me. It means the world to me. I hope you guys are all staying happy and healthy, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye!